Situationship, situationships, yeah, shots fired podcast, because that's what we do. We take shots over here, take shots at me. He can take shots at my co-host. Oh yeah, my co-host ain't here right now. She ain't here, but I got somebody else here in her place. Shout out to Miss Elsie. Thank you for being a part of this podcast, this situationship podcast. Shots fired. She's not here, but I got Miss Kim in place. And y'all, I got a great interview today. I really am thankful for this interview. Yeah, this is gonna be a good 20-25 minutes of just solid talk. A little bit about me. I'm your host. My name is Keithan. I am your host of this show. I thought about this situationship because this podcast, because I realized everybody is currently in a situationship. And I know y'all have probably talked to somebody who's been in some type of situationship. Yeah, situationship. Um, so my definition of a situationship is just something that you have going on extracurricular where there is no title. And I say extracurricular, yeah, because you're doing some extracurricular activities with no title to it. You don't know what's going on. Am I right? I'm finna introduce this person, but before I introduce him, can you just say yes or no? Yes or no, am I right?
Yes, you are correct.
All right, okay, I'm correct. Yeah. So you don't know what you're doing. Y'all could be doing whatever. You could be going out and dating. We grown, hunching. Who knows? That's your business, but that's a situationship. I'm gonna leave it alone. So listen, y'all, I got a special guest. This is my first interview, and I'm so thankful for it. This person reached out and was like, "Hey, interview me. I got something to say. Put me on. I need to say something." This young lady, I've known her since man, she's from my city. She's from Florida. And when I say my city, I mean Ocala. Yeah, I'm from Ocala. She's from Ocala. We're from Florida. And she's a classmate, and I'm just thankful to have her on my show. Y'all, just I want to give a real big hand, stand ovation for Miss Kimberly Berry. I don't mean to give a government name out there on situationships, but how you doing? Happy Saturday to you. What's good with you?
I am good. I am good. Happy
Yeah.
Saturday. I am happy to be on here talking
Okay.
about the situationships. We all have had one for sure. And since we giving our government names, do not get my government name wrong. I am Kymberly Berry-Cheathem, honey.
Oh, say less, Miss Cheatham. Thank you. Thank you for that. In providing that clarity, ma'am. Tell us a little bit more about you, man. Just fill us in. All I did was say Ocala, Florida. But let everybody know what's going on, Miss Kimberly Berry-Cheathem.
Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. So, a little bit about me. As Keithon stated, I am from Ocala, not originally. I was born in southern Georgia, and then my family kind of migrated to Florida. So, that's how I ended up in Ocala. I think we came to Ocala when I was in like middle school, went all the way through middle school, through high school, and some adulthood before I kind of moved and transitioned out of that. I am, let's see, 43. And, for y'all that don't know me, I work a lovely government job, Department of Defense. And yeah, so that's where I am. Currently living in Arizona. I migrated from California to Arizona. So I'm in the lovely desert state, which has been interesting. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, okay. Man, you seem like you travel a lot. Am I right? Am I
I
wrong?
do. I do.
Okay.
And so part of my job is I am a quality auditor. So
Mm-hmm.
that means I travel to our suppliers to audit their facilities to make sure, essentially that they're following GMP, GOP rules, and then they have the
Mm-hmm.
appropriate like QMS systems in place. So I go into all these places, evaluating all these things, and making sure that they're doing what they say they're doing. It's at the
Okay.
end of the day, pretty much everything we are manufacturing is going into humans. And so
Okay.
it's very important that we kind of check that out. So that's only one part of the job. I enjoy it. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes I'm gone too much and I miss being home. I actually like being home, but that is not my life currently. So we roll with it.
So you miss Florida?
I do not miss Florida
You
in
don't
in
what?
any. I do
What?
not in any.
What? What? You don't miss your what?
I don't. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes I do miss the humidity. Now that I'm in Arizona and it's desert heat and we
Okay.
don't have humidity. So sometimes
Okay.
I miss the humidity. I do not. I don't know. So I felt even like during my time in Florida, I felt very closed in, and very boxed in. And I
Okay.
felt like growth was stunted.
Okay.
And sometimes for me that was a little hard to measure because everyone that I kind of had surrounding me in different periods of my time were kind of in the same place. So it looked like, oh, well, you're kind of in the same place as kind of everybody else. So, is that
Mm-hmm.
good or is that bad?
Mm.
And I just wanted more. And I didn't feel like Ocala especially did not have the more that I was looking for. And then even when I left Ocala and I moved to Gainesville, which is right up the road, but
Mm-hmm.
when I moved to Gainesville, that wasn't it either. It just didn't have the more that I was looking for. So when I was offered the opportunity to relocate to California, I pretty much jumped on
Mm-hmm.
it. And once I got to California, that literally was what I like to call like my coming out era or my
Mm-hmm.
becoming, shall I say,
Mm.
because I felt like I had finally placed myself in an environment where I could truly thrive because that is what
Gotcha.
I was craving. I was craving
Okay.
the ability to thrive, like I was craving upward mobility in my career path, and I
Mm-hmm.
was looking for more opportunity. So when I look at it in that sense, like no, I don't miss Florida. In fact,
Dang.
usually when I
Dang.
come back to Florida, cause granted my mom is still in Florida and I still have, tons of family there, but even when I come back
Mm-hmm.
to visit, like, I'm usually in and out. Like, I dip in, I see a couple of
Yeah, you are.
people, have a couple of dinners,
Yeah.
and then I'm out because for me, this is a personal opinion, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
want my fellow Ocalians, to get upset, but sometimes
You
when
know
I
they
just
will.
enter yeah, they will. But sometimes, like when I enter the city, I don't know, it feels like oppression. It feels like things are standing still.
Oh, all right. So let's this that's a whole nother topic. We ain't gonna talk about the city. We don't want to listen. Ocala, we ain't riding y'all. We love y'all. I'm from the city. Okay,
We
I'm a
do, we do,
thoroughbred.
we do.
I love you.
That's just my personal opinion.
We
No
go.
shade, no shade.
No shade, no shade. And we both have lived in other states, you know what I'm talking about? So ain't
Of
no
course, of course.
discriminating. We love
No.
y'all, you know what I'm saying? We love y'all. Um, Kim, we gonna come back to the
Of course.
Situationships, Shots Fired
Okay.
podcast. We're gonna come back to the discussion. I got some questions for you, man. Do you mind
All
answering them
right.
for me?
Yes, let's dig into it. Let's dig into it.
Let's dig into it. Let's dig into it. All right, y'all. So it's all day Florida. I'm gonna try to represent my state anywhere I go with these questions being asked. I'm a Florida dude. I'm asking some questions, Florida questions, but I think I'm taking the light on Kim today. You let me know after you hear these questions. But compared to what I know Elsie gonna do with her next co-host, her next interview, excuse me, my co-host gonna do with her next interview. Like, listen, I think she gonna go hard on her, but I'm taking it light on Kim. But you let me know. So, Kim, question number one:
Okay.
have you ever been in a situationship?
Of course. A few.
Can a few? Ooh, elaborate. Tell us about it, y'all. Let us hear about this. Well, if you don't, I know you're married now, and we ain't breaking
I
up no
no.
happy
Oh, no, no,
homes
no,
over
no,
here.
no.
We don't do that
No, no,
over
no,
here.
no, no.
But
Yeah,
do you
nothing like that.
let my okay talk about
And
it.
he listen, he is well aware, of my past. So there is
Okay,
nothing in my closet that can't
okay,
come
all
out.
right,
So
cool.
so yeah, so I have been in a few like situationships. And it kind of just varied based on kind of where I was in my life. I feel like for me, like most of my situationships, like started off like real innocent. They started off with
Okay.
let's get to know each other, let's chill, let's vibe, which I personally feel like that's generally like how they start off anyway. They start
Mm-hmm.
off like, very like low key. And then of course then
Mm-hmm.
that generally turns sexual because
Mm.
that's also like what I like to feel like the part of the benefit of being in a situationship.
We
You
grown. We
kind of
grown.
want yes, you want something that's like not a booty call. You want something a little bit more than that, but like you just don't really want to call it anything. So I feel like for me, that's kind of where it started off. And a few of those situationships, it felt like true connection. It felt like real
Okay.
connection. Like I said, in certain periods of my life, I was craving connection, but like I didn't want anything like deeper. And somewhere in between, the late night talks and the early morning talks, coffee in the morning, aka getting it in. And somewhere that, that turns into, the hey, what are you doing today? What you got going on today? And how was your
Yeah.
day? And then that spills into, it starts to feel like true connection. But
Okay.
there's no title on it.
No
And that's
titles
just
on
like
them.
what it is. That yeah, there's just like no titles. I feel like I like to call it like the gray zone. It's the area
Okay.
where you don't really have nothing defined. You're kind of doing something. Sometimes you even kind of care about the person that you're doing it
Mm-hmm.
with.
Mm-hmm. True.
But
True.
a lot of the times, it just feels like you're coloring outside of the lines. Because
So
there are no boundaries.
I was just about to say, that that's I'm not gonna ask that question because I want to know, is there boundaries? Are there boundaries in the situationship? But don't
So
answer it. Don't
sometimes,
answer it. Uh,
oh, you don't want me to
Go
answer it?
ahead.
All right.
No, answer it. Let them hear it. Let them
Well,
know what you want to say.
so here's the thing. I feel like I have been in a situationship where there were zero boundaries. But after I think I experienced like my first one where there were no boundaries, I realized that like if I wanted to like do that again, like it cannot be boundaryless. There had to be like some parameters, like some rules in place, and again, they varied. Some of those rules were like very simple. Some of those rules, off the cuff, we was like, hey, this ain't no fall in love situation, so don't fall in love.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have like for me, the number one rule that I've kind of always had in a situationship is just be transparent and just be honest. I feel like a lot of times like people get in situationships and they're just not honest about where they are. And I think
Mm,
that honesty is very important because I know, like for me, if I'm in a
mm.
situationship and we are sleeping together and you sleeping with five other women, I want to know that because now we talking about health and safety. So I want to know that that you sleeping with everybody in the
Oh,
city and it's as they like to
oh,
call it community meet. I want to know if it's community
oh.
meet because I want to.
I want to take, okay, so I'm going off topic here. We got so I already got questions for her, but she said a
You
good
already
point.
got questions.
If yeah, yeah, yeah. So if he's sleeping with five different women, so a lot of times y'all know when he's sleeping with five different. Y'all know. So with that being
Absolutely.
said, is a condom required in a situationship?
So I am going to say overall, yes. For my situationships, I had to be a little bit, I guess, more careful because I'm actually allergic to latex, and so there were not like many condom options for me. So in my situationships, I had to have like certain boundaries and I had to have certain parameters because you could not be sleeping with five other people and sleeping with me. Cuz you sleeping with me raw. And that's and that's just, what it was and that is not safe
Right.
for me. Like I had to look out, for safety and I did not want to end up with sitting in a doctor's office and having to make a call and tell my family I got something that is gonna take me out eventually. So that was
Good,
important to
good
me.
point. Good
Yeah,
point. And
yeah.
one thing that I know my co-host takes pride in is getting back to the true root of issues, situationships
Mhm.
that can better the community, can better, and these type of talks need to be taught because they're not talked about. That's
Mhm,
the point of this
mhm.
podcast, so we could talk about stuff like that. You know what I
Oh,
mean? How you need to
absolutely.
protect yourself if you're in these type of situationships. Even though sometimes it's, you might not be able to, but at least you need to stop practicing, right?
Yes, for sure.
Practice what you preach. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Also, yeah, sorry that we did a little caveat, but
We did a
question.
little pivot.
We did. Let pivot back so we can go for the shot. But listen, with your previous situationships, were all the outcomes good or the outcomes bad? Like what out of the share that you had, were
Okay.
there better outcomes or worse outcomes?
I don't so I'm going to say most of them were good outcomes. Like meaning
Okay.
we did not walk away, on bad terms, hating each other, blah blah blah. I can say that I did have one that
Mm-hmm.
ended very 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 badly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because both of us kind of caught feelings. And we were in love. The problem
Mm.
is we both had other things going on both
Mm-hmm.
sides. And what I mean by that is I was coming out of a relationship, getting into this situationship, and he was actually in a relationship having a situationship on the side. So it ended very badly because he had all these feelings that he didn't know what to do with, and I had all these feelings that I didn't know how to do with, and ended up like, hey, what do we do? Where do we go? And I'm like, well, there's nowhere for us to go. It just
Yeah.
has to end.
Yeah.
It has to end. And so it ended up like very, very badly. And I never like to be in any situation where like
Mm-hmm.
things end badly and we don't at least walk away that if I see you 5 years later, you can still throw up your hand and speak, and
Yeah.
have a hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? How you so that's really how I kind of like to leave things. But that situationship did not end that way.
In
It
that
ended
way.
very badly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you stated that y'all in that situation you had mentioned that you guys had you fall in love. He fell in love with you. You fell in love with him. Now in these
Mhm.
situationships, are we supposed to fall in love with each other? Like,
No.
is
No.
love going to be the topic? Okay, I got something else going on.
No.
You got something else going on. But we in this
Uh,
situationship. We go fall in love. Like, how does love lead to
no.
this?
This is so that's the thing. No, you are not supposed to fall in love. Love is not even supposed to be on the radar, in the vicinity, none of that. But I think I can only speak to like that one situation, but like with he and I, we just really started spending a lot of time together.
Time together.
We were just our situationship was 90%
Mm,
bedroom and just kind of small talk initially. And
mm-hmm.
then somewhere along the lines, like that those bedroom rendezvous turned into I want to spend the night. And then
Mm,
that plummeted into
mm,
let me make you breakfast.
mm,
And then that plummeted into
mm,
like, hey, I got
mm,
2 hours off from work. Let's
mm,
grab lunch.
mm.
And it took a very quick turn, and it took a quick turn very quickly.
I got you.
It went left, like, very, very quickly, and when I say quickly, it was, like, a month or so. Because really at the time, like when it was happening, like I really wasn't thinking about it. I was like, oh, like I saw him today and shit, I saw him yesterday too. And like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
seeing him tomorrow now too.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, and I'm just gonna be transparent, like when you vibing and the sex
Uh-huh.
is good, seeing somebody every day ain't that big of a deal until you realize like
True.
then Wednesday comes and you realize, oh, I didn't see him on Wednesday and I really want to see him on
True.
Wednesday.
True.
And so you just kind of fall into like the patterns. You fall into the patterns and then it starts to take on a whole situation of itself. And then I'll never forget, like we were laying in bed on some late night creep because
Mm.
as I stated earlier, he was in a relationship.
Yeah.
So we was, laying in the bed on some late night creep and I think he just kind of looks over at me and he was like, "Hey, like this feels really good. Like I want to do this all the time." And then it was just like, "Wait, what?" And
Okay.
part of me was like, "I enjoy this too. I want to do this like all the time, but like we can't. We just can't." Um,
Oh.
and I'm like, it just can't, and then I think like because at that point we had like such a connection, we tried to like walk away from each other. And then we just kept
Mm-hmm.
ending up like, it was like a hamster wheel. We just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And
Spinning
one
and
day
spinning.
I just said, like, hey, we on this roller coaster ride and I am just about ready to throw up, so I gotta get off.
Okay.
And we gotta end this.
I, I
We just gotta end it.
You are sharing exactly what I'm sharing. Now, listen, people out there listen to this podcast. Then my next interview, I might not even, no, I'm being nice on Miss Berry right now, Berry-Cheathem. I'm being nice on her. This is my first interview. I don't want to go hard, but she is literally answering how she's doing a great job, and I hope y'all are really enjoying this. If you are, please at this time like, share, comment. Don't be back there like just watching. Just like, share, comment, man. Just get on there. Get on all these platforms. We on TikTok. We about to be on YouTube. We on Instagram and we on Facebook, aka Book Face. Like, share, comment, people. This is the Situationships Shots Fired podcast. Pew pew. What's up? Hit me up. But listen, we're not done yet. I just want to get y'all
We had to take
back on point.
a plug break.
Yes, ma'am. We did just like that. So listen, I got two more questions for you. These are
Okay,
questions that just want to figure out. Like I've been hearing people
okay,
talk about this. Just just quick, short answer about what you think about this.
okay.
Why are women today starting to behave like men do in relationships? Because I'm hearing that a lot.
Ooh. So my take is this. I don't think women are like starting to act like men per se. I think we just got hit
Okay.
to the game. I think
The
we picked
game?
up on yeah, I think we picked up on the game just after from a woman's perspective. Like, when you spend years and years and years kind of just, over giving and like being ghosted and like being told you too emotional and all of these things, like you just get to the point where you're like, oh, well, we just need to lean into to what they're doing. And it doesn't become I know a lot of times like I hear this same sentiment from like women too. And I've heard men say, well, women are just so heartless. And I question, I'm like, is it heartless or is it self-preservation? Did we
Oof.
just lean into like protecting ourselves, as much as like, and we put the wall up, as
Yeah.
much as men are putting the wall up because we get burnt out too. And I
Okay.
think a lot of women like are burnt out. They burnt out on like, forcing it and like trying to have like soft girl errors and men not giving them a space to be soft. So they like, well, we just gonna be like men and we gonna be hard too and we not gonna show emotions and we not gonna do all the things first and we not gonna step up to the plate. We gonna sit in the shadows like they do and kind of see
Okay.
where that gets us.
Okay. So that's your story and you gonna stick with it.
Listen, that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm telling you, when I leaned
Alright.
into it, it was a good time.
You so silly. Hey, I respect that. I respect that. Everybody has their own, you know, perspective, and a lot of,
Yeah,
like your perspective is accurate. It's on point. So thank you
yeah.
for answering that. Last question before we get into statistic. Please answer this as you would
Okay.
as you could. Who cheats more, men or women? In your perspective, who you think cheats
Um,
more?
I don't listen, this is unpopular opinion. I want to preface this by saying it is unpopular opinion. Women and or men do not eat me up. Um But I feel like we cheat the same. I feel like women and men equally cheat the same. And I think it's very different for men as for women. I think men cheat based on ego. They do it for the thrill. They do it for validation. They do it for, the power of being wanted. I think women cheat to
Oof,
escape. Like women want to be seen, they want to be heard, they
oof,
want connection, they want attention. So
oof.
I feel like both men and women equally cheat the same. And I ultimately feel like even in a relationship, generally the person who cheats first is the person who feels unseen when they're being ignored. And eventually they start searching for that everywhere. I remember I used to tell this girl that I used to work with because she always had like this man, that would, was doting on her at work essentially.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
she had a man, she had a husband. And I remember like and her husband and I were friends too. And I remember telling her husband, like, hey, like don't lose your wife behind a man who like telling her good morning every morning. Because
Man,
I think that's where that starts. It starts when like you're not unseen and like you're feeling unseen and your needs aren't being met.
yes,
So the
ma'am.
first person, that comes along and I feel like I enact that very thing. Even in my own marriage, like, everybody's always like, "Oh, you cook for you cook every day," and I'm like, "Well, I don't cook every day, but I cook several days a week." And then, oh my god, like I don't think I could do that, and blah 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 blah. I was like, "You think I'm about to lose my man to a bitch with a sandwich?" Like, this a PG show, and we talking
Oh,
about
yes.
situationship.
I know, and it's difficult. I know it's difficult, but my babies may be watching it, and I got grown kids, and I
Oh,
don't want them in those situationships, and I know they probably
listen,
talk just like how we talking. It is what it is, but
oh,
I just trying
they
to
do.
give that viewer discretion is
Get
advised.
viewer description. My bad. No cursing on the Situationships podcast.
Hey, it's gonna slip.
But
It's
yeah,
gonna
but
slip,
that's
but slip. But go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, but that's ultimately how I feel. I think that men and women cheat equally the
Yeah.
same. And it's
Okay.
for different reasons. So
Well, you asked me.
who you think cheat more?
I I agree with you, classmate. I agree with you. I met some excuse my language. I met some sluts, okay, on both sides of the playing field. You got some slutty men and you got some slutty women. And it's about an even draw on all ethnicities. It's an even draw.
Mhm.
Everybody. I'm gonna add one more on there. Does everybody cheat at some point in time?
I don't know. I feel like I know some
Oh,
people that have never cheated. So I don't know that I can successfully say that. I feel like there is a great amount of people that has cheated at some point or another. I do not believe everybody cheats though.
have you
Um
cheated at some point in time?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Was it at the beginning, the end, the middle of those relationships that you cheated?
So I have cheated twice, and one time I cheated in the middle, and the second time I cheated towards the end.
Okay.
But it was a cheat at the end where like I thought we were over, we said we were over, but then like we kind of decided that hey, like maybe we want to work on this.
Yeah.
But I was already in cheat mode, so I just
Cheat mode.
I just leaned into
Ooh,
it.
damn, what you did? To go to controller and hit cheat mode, and you out there just super fly cheating, huh? Just at it,
Yeah,
huh?
it was and
Yeah.
see, here's the thing, for me in that relationship,
Uh,
I had already, like, mentally and emotionally checked out.
checked out. Yo.
So even when it
Mhm.
came to the, like, "Hey, I wanna work on this,"
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
already 1 foot out the door,
Okay.
and so I just leaned into it. But yeah,
Okay.
I have cheated.
Girl, we boy, ooh, this is a good interview. We're a little bit over, but it's well worth it. I hope y'all enjoying this because this a good interview.
Mhm.
So Kim, at this time, I have a statistic for you. I'm gonna go
Alright,
down it, and you just give me some insight on what you think about this statistic. All
okay.
right, so this statistic has something to do with divorce rate with black
Mhm.
couples. So it says black couples have the highest divorce rates among racial groups in the United States. Statistics from 2021 shows black men and women have the highest first time divorce rate at 22.6% and 24.5% respectively. Other studies show that a 2025 report indicates that the divorce rate for black couples is almost 31% compared to 15% for white couples. What the heck? Like, uh, I'm gonna say, what the hell? What the helly? What the heck? What the
Yeah,
helly hell? Man, come on,
I
man. What's up with us? Why we,
I k
why we can't?
I kinda feel I kinda feel like that's accurate.
What?
I feel like I feel like within our culture, so a couple of different like layers in my personal opinion. I think a lot of times in our culture we have a high divorce rate because we simply just didn't marry the person that we should have been married to. I think sometimes we and everybody marries people for whatever the reason is, but sometimes I think it is very important who you choose to marry. And I feel like I have learned that as someone who was married once very young and got divorced, and then as someone who is married now. I think it's very important to not necessarily marry your equal, but marry
Mm-hmm.
somebody who you align with. And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times in the Black community, we marry people that we don't necessarily align with.
Okay.
I think over time, those relationships, they become cumbersome. And you realize, like, okay, what I wanted, a year ago, I don't necessarily want that. I want something different. But if you don't have a partner that's willing to be open, that change is inevitable, then now you got a situation because now you've changed and you're growing in a different direction and they don't align or they don't like your change or they don't accept your change or you have some men that say, oh, I liked you the way you were when we first got married, and it's like, but yeah, I'm not that person anymore. So I think that happens. I think within the Black community, I think finances kills marriages. I think lack of communication kills marriages. Lack of transparency. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the list can go on and on. But those are definitely my top things
Yeah.
that I think ruin marriages. I also think sometimes I know for me, my own personal experience, in my first marriage, I was very, very young. And I don't feel like anyone gave me the tools to equip me on how to be married. I think you know how to do it and
Okay.
you think you got all the tips and tricks and things in the bags that you need, and I very quickly realized that like I did not. And I also didn't know how to ask for help because I was embarrassed. I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, "Oh my god, like my marriage is
Mm.
failing and I don't know how to do this." And I
Wow.
think at that time I was so opposed to like therapy, which I think also happens in a lot of African American marriages. Like we like, oh, I'm not gonna go to counseling and I don't want to be telling nobody my business and blah blah blah. And in theory, sometimes like that's the thing that you need. You need some help. We don't all have the answers, and there may be somebody that, has the answers. So I think stuff like
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
important. But yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
I do not disagree with your statistics. It's crazy. But I do, as somebody who is two-time married, I do believe in black love. And I do believe that it is possible. But I think that unlike situationships, you have to have boundaries
Yeah. You're
in order to achieve that.
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
As a divorced man, I'm approaching my first year being divorced. Like it's I kind of agree with that statistic, and I agree with some of the things you were saying. And another reason why I wanted to create this podcast is due to the fact that I got a divorce. This is my outlet to help someone else to prevent them from going through the stuff that I've been through. Situationships. I went through situationships in my
Mhm,
divorce. Prior to me leading up to the divorce, I was doing my thing, which wasn't right. So
mhm.
this has been a wonderful interview, Kim. I
Mhm.
absolutely appreciate you, fam. We're approaching. We getting up. We ain't young babies no more from Florida. We getting
Oh,
up
yeah.
there, and it's good that we can get together and have collaborative conversations that can grow and improve the community like what it's supposed to do. So
Mhm.
we're gonna conclude the discussion, but Kim, to my knowledge, you got a
Mhm.
business, don't you? Don't you got a business?
I do. I do.
Talk,
So
girl, talk
so
about your
actually,
business. Promote that. Promote that.
okay.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of it. So my main business. So I started out with like a CBD and THC business. And that was doing very well, but I quickly realized that like that was not my calling. That was not what I wanted my life's mission to be. So I pivoted over into the world of apothecary. So I own a full line apothecary where I carry organic herbs and I carry organic tea blends. I also do body care and home fragrance as well. I am also a certified herbalist and a licensed holistic nutritionist as well. And what kind of started that business was, I needed to pour into my body. My body was falling apart and I wanted to get back to my roots. I wanted to get back to the things that, I used to see my grandma doing in the kitchen when we got sick and she make a salve and put on your chest.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that is what my passion was. So I did that, and within that passion, I also have like a love for candles and home fragrance. But I wanted to create something that is less killing us. I'm not gonna say that over time it probably won't kill us. But can't soy candles kill us over time, and a lot of the fragrances are like very toxic to us. So I wanted to create a candle making experience. So I have a partner in that business. And we have a candle making experience where you can come and you can make your own signature scent and you can make your own candle using like phosphate free, non toxic fragrances. So yeah, so those are the things I can do. So yeah, y'all check me out, berrykissbliss.com for all your apothecary
Say
needs.
it one more time. Say it one more time.
Berry
Get let it
It is berrykissbliss.com. And yeah, so
spell it
y'all
out.
can y'all
Spell it out for the slow people in the back of the room.
yeah,
We got
yes,
some
I
slow people
can.
back there. They
Yes,
back there. Spell it out for them.
a
Spell
a
it out, please.
absolutely. So yeah, berrykissbliss.com. And as you know, the name of my business is Berry Kiss Bliss. And yeah, everybody knows that's my born name. So everything I do in business is also an homage to my ancestors. Because I love my birth name. So I carry it through. And then the name of the candle making experience is the Berry Damsel Experience. So yeah. And you can only do that if you're
What,
local to
man?
Phoenix.
What? Hey, I might have to go to Phoenix, Arizona, y'all. Hey, go if you want the local stuff. Go to Arizona. Holla at Kim when you in AZ, and she got you on the hookup
Yeah.
on the herbal,
Yeah.
the cleaning stuff to get you right. None of that toxic stuff,
Yeah.
baby. We're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. We don't do toxicity over here. We do good, healthy
We
stuff
we
for our
don't,
mind
we
and our
don't.
bodies. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we
Yes,
gotta heal
ma'am.
the body from the inside out. You gotta put the good stuff in it to
That's
get the
right.
good results on the
That's right.
outside. So,
That
yeah.
longevity. I'm seeing 96, Kim. I'm claiming it. I'm gonna be 96. I'm gonna be able to drive. I'm gonna be able to talk crap to my great grandbabies and tell them about how the 80s was and stuff like that. But listen, this has been awesome, y'all. So once again, my name is Keithan. I'm the host, and I just had Miss Kimberly Berry-Cheathem online. Y'all give her a hand. Y'all thank her for being here. I appreciate
Thank
her. Yeah. Pew. Once again, this is the Situationships. Shots fired. It ain't right if you don't do the little pew pew, because that's what gets you the attention when you do the little pew pew. So this is the
yes.
Situationship shots fired, y'all. It's been a pleasure. Happy Saturday, everybody. Yeah. Kim, you got anything you want to say before we pause this?
I do not all I
No?
wanna say is, hey, situationships are not for everybody. They are for some people, but live your truth. Live your truth.
All right. The phrase of the day: live your truth. Let's say it in the less PG. Live your truth. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that. I ain't even said. You just read my lips. MF, leisure MF. Yeah, truth. We out, man. All right. All right, Kim.